to our shows are stories of inspiration, passion, people that it means everything to them. People that work regular jobs and they put their heart and their soul, whatever it is, whether it's writing or acting. Our first two guests are the beautiful, talented, Carolina Athey. And she is a beautiful young woman who is going to tell us about her accomplishments. She has a film that is nominated in the women's, the women's selection, or the women's area for the Hollywood Festival coming up. And she'll tell us more about that. We also have the amazing, talented writer and actor, the Night Caller, and my buddy, the actor. And I am so excited. This story means a lot to me because as we get into it, Craig was a regular blue-collar worker with a mortgage company for over 20 years. In 2011, well, we'll let him tell you the story, his journey began, and he's been an accomplished writer and actor. All of my stories are people that it means something to them. It means everything to us to have them here. To me, as I discussed with you, success, just having you here. We are so honored. Each and every interview means the world to me. And I couldn't thank you, Sam, enough for pushing me beyond my limits. I came here as a film interviewer, and I've gotten to meet the most fascinating people. Later on joining us will be Chris, formerly from The Pimps, Jordan Lyson, who's currently at the Viper Room, an actor. We have a comedian and writer from Brian. We have, his name is Kurt Smith. We also, Jack, Mark couldn't be here, but we'll get him at a later date. And who knows? Yes, he is. Who will be popping up? Jed Rollins, yes. So anyway, stay tuned. We're going to start out. And welcome, Tacky.
We have beautiful, beautiful people.
Yes, we do. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you guys for joining us. I would like to start out.
Coming out in the rain.
Yeah, for coming out in the rain. No, thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to know how you got started with acting and what you did prior to that.
Sure. For 25 years, I was a mortgage banker. And if you happen to see the film The Big Short, after we got caught up in it, I had an A-paper lending business. We had done well for 25 years and decided as we went in 2008 that it didn't make any sense to keep it going. A good friend of mine had been an actor for years, Louis Smith. I saw him at the gym. And I asked him, I said, yeah. And after I said, how's the acting thing going, Louis? And he said that he just booked a role in January, a Western.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I said, well, Western, January. And he said, hey, long story short.
Take all the time you want.
Okay, all right. So he invited me to his academy. And I said, your academy for what? And he said, for actors. Sure.
I love it.
And so I thought, all right. I thought, okay, I'll get a chance to go to Orange County. So I go to Santa Monica. And I just thought I'd watch actors do their thing. I had no desire to be an actor. We don't have any actors in our family. I didn't know any actors. I knew bankers. And so I went up there, and I wasn't there more than 5 minutes. And he had me running lines with another actor. With another actor.
Sure.
And it was awkward as all him. And so I'm driving home. So he asked me, he called me. He says, well, Craig, what do you think? I said, that wasn't too cool. You kind of suckered me.
Yeah, it kind of put me on the spot.
Oh, totally. It was more than on the spot. It was really uncomfortable. And he said, well, give it 90 days. Oh, yeah. And I said, all right. And I did. And my first audition was a complete train wreck. It was not good.
Wait a minute.
Oh, no. They're bad. And I like be real bad. Now, to show how...
You're going to say that again?
I don't think I can. and to show how bad it was, that I thought in auditioning that I'd be just auditioning for feature films. Okay, you know where this is going.
Yeah.
Well, it was a short film, and to boot it was a student film. And I couldn't process that why did I drive all the way from Orange County to Los Angeles for a movie that kids make? And if that wasn't bad enough, for no money. It was a 3-minute film. You know, the film, it takes me longer to make a boiled egg than it did the film. And so anyhow, that was the start. The next film, Fortune, was a feature film, and I booked the lead actress's father, much to my surprise. And that's how it started. And so, but the very cool part of it is that if my career path had stayed in mortgage banking, as I had seen it, I would retire as a mortgage banker. But thankfully, God had something else in mind and got me out of mortgage banking. And here I sit today. So if that had not happened, if we had not decided to close our business December 31st, 2007, I would have missed all of it. I would have never met this young lady.
So since you're talking about a mortgage banker,
Yeah.
okay, isn't that like a person that's going to shoot himself in the head?
Okay. Well, you know, I shouldn't kid about this, but I did have a few friends that did commit suicide.
See? But you know, the really funny part about the whole situation is,
I know, man. I know. And as soon as it
so you're going to patch yourself on the fine.
There's nothing wrong with that. You're very honest.
that's her too. But, no, and that's the funny thing is that if you would have told me 10 years ago, you and I were sitting there having compliments of this, I said, hey Craig, 10 years from now, I'm going to be interviewing you, you'd be an actor. I said, man, are you on crack or what? There's not a chance that
But you know what's really funny? It's like I told you the other night, I said, what did they tell you the other day? I said,
I don't remember. I never shut up.
Why are we interviewing them? Who are we?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. You know, we had talked similar how I was Dan. I left soap operas and called in, and it went from there. The guy said, you know more about Days of Our Lives than I co-host. And I started out and kept host, and one thing led to another. So what I loved what you said was God's plan. I'm not a religious fanatic, but I believe everything has a destiny, fate, and time. And again, mine started out as my grandmother started me watching soap when I was this high, 8 years old. My grandmother was very sick, and those people were like her friends. They didn't have VCRs and DVRs and all that. So I'd come home and she'd be talking about Doug and Julie or Hope and Bo, like they were the next door neighbors. And I fell in love with General Hospital and all of those. And that's what me and my grandma had. She taught me a love of classics and Gucci, hello, you know, and all of that. But it's funny is that I grew up, even after my grandmother passed, still loving the Stones. And I was a jammy fan from Days of Our Lives. I don't know if you've heard of James Scott and Allison Sweeney from Days of Our Lives. Who hasn't? And I was irate over something that the couple of the writers had done, and I wrote a commentary. And then the Soap Digest, my pyramid, said, hey, you know, can I run that? And after that, I just started commentating on soap and soap reviewing. And then I didn't even know what internet radio was. Hello. And then all of a sudden my daughter said, Twitter. I'm like, Twitter, whatever. And so they have those. Oh, there's those. Okay, well, it started out from there. And to make a long story short, but everything has its time and purpose.
Yeah.
I've always written. I did it, you know, in school. But I was like you. I had landscaping, janitorial, fencing business for 20 years. While I was waiting for that to take off, I was Betty's manager.
How's the phone?
And he's done many things. But you know, God leads you to where you're supposed to be. Obviously, I love to talk. And I started interviewing. The first interview I had, I called in. It was, her name is Lauren Cosmo. I hung up because I got so nervous. How can we Kate Demira? And I had talked to her husband as a fan. They were having fans ask questions. And I told my friend who was going to show, I can't do it. And then years later, one thing led to another, and I got the most amazing.
Wow.
And what you learn is, when I went to CBS for the daytime thing, there's people just like me and you, and it's a wonderful thing. God leads you and leads the right people, and such as yourself, and that's what our show is about, inspiring stories that you never know if you just really get your heart together. It opens the door, and that's what had attracted me to Timothy Hines. You've heard of him from Mason Madhouse. He called me and was hooked up on Facebook and looking for a local promotion right there at Laramie. And we got Alexander Callis and Tyler Berry. And I told you, it would be, they're up for some nominations.
Real people.
But what inspired me about him was he put his heart and his soul. I mean, writing the screenplay, you know how all that stuff works. And it's amazing stories, and your story is amazing.
Just like it. I mean, you're self-explanatory.
Yeah. How do you feel about all this? I'd like to know. How do you feel? How did you feel about your first STEM event or your first big time awards? How did that feel?
Weird. I mean, because this whole thing is like a dreamland.
Right.
Because you just have to understand, if I waited any longer to become an actor, I probably would have been dead. So I mean, to say I'm a late bloomer, I mean, you know, let's be real. So this is always like a dream of mine. If I've always said like, someday I'm going to be an actor, then it make more sense. I love film. I've always enjoyed going to movies and escaping. It's the lights go down and you're there, and all of a sudden you're
Did you ever watch a viral?
Oh, of course. I'm just shocked I'm admitting it, but of course I did.
Oh, yeah, of course.
As a young guy, are you kidding?
We all did.
Right?
God.
You do a lot of the writing yourself and direct.
Yeah, yes, to answer your question. One film I did overlook that Carolina probably did, that during the summer of this year, I wrote a feature film. It'll be shot in June or July.
That's the one we talked about, right?
Right. It's a horror film, feature film based on true events, and I'm looking really forward to that. The people that have read the script like it a lot. But I do like writing for this, and I like directing, like I directed her. From the standpoint, I think years working with people in mortgage banking, that you get a good sense of what people are about. So I try to put people in positions to allow them to be successful. And because you're an actor, it doesn't mean that you can play all roles equally well. So as I was writing actually for her, and also Jackie, different ones, you kind of get into the rhythm, not only the character, but their essence, they kind of all come together. So you have a blueprint of what you want. And like Carolina on set, very much an opinion number one she wanted to say. And I just didn't feel it was going to work. But the easy thing is,